Yeah, okay, go on, screw everything else. That was
when we're doing our housing ministry.
That's a really exciting, dramatic way to introduce myself. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Like Shannon mentioned, my name is Hudson. I'm the founder of Angels Are Strong. I'm still here. All right, testing. I think that I don't need that. Yeah, so Is that a good thing or bad thing? Okay. So, yeah, so that was what I think got a lot of people, there we go. Nope.
All right, can I have you mute yourself?
I think I'm muted.
I think you turned down the volume.
Like that? No.
And then.
Okay, there, muted. All right. What was it saying? Oh, yeah, don't attack senior people. Seemed pretty basic, but that was really like what was really bothering us, because like that was a thing we grew up as kids. So if you were wondering like why this recent one really sparked, to me, that's where a lot of it was, because it was unignorable that the crimes were way biased for seniors and women. So from there, we started our first rally. I remember March 17th was when we were having wing night, just talking about feelings, a bunch of friends. I'm not gonna lie, after a couple of beers, got a lot of liquid courage, and we're like, we're gonna do something. And we're like, you know what, we're gonna do a rally first. The first thing we wanted to do was empower community and bring some confidence back, because all we saw were attacks after attacks. And even myself, who trained for a long time, who thinks I can take care of myself, can just imagine how bad the rest of my community was feeling. The seniors, the women that did not want to come out. So the first thing we wanted to do was have a rally that was more empowering, just reminding the community that we're a strong community. That's where the name came from. Asians are strong. At that time, I didn't love the name. I couldn't think of anything else faster at that point, to be honest. But it served both two purposes. It was to remind ourselves internally that we're a strong community. We've always been strong. We've always fought back. And remind the rest of the world that we're strong and don't mess with us in a PC way of saying it. So this was our first rally. None of us had any experience doing a rally. Like, I thought I was gonna get arrested. I wasn't sure if people were gonna pay. Thing you learned about the most about throwing rallies, you had to figure out how to do porta potties. That was a new lesson in life. At like over 400 people, you gotta get an ADA one that comes like 8 hours, like lot. We learned a lot. But it was really rewarding, because after the rally, we had such good positive momentum from the community. We sat down with the 6 of us and decided like, we're gonna become a nonprofit. There's a need in our community, and there's a need for us right now. Because we're looking around, we didn't see anyone really helping out and stepping out, at least the way we wanted to do so. So we have a very simple mission at Asian Strong, and that's to empower, protect, and empower the Asian Pacific Islander community. And the way we do it is through our core pillars. So we do a lot of safety resources. So we do self-defense training in person, and I'll show you some of those pictures later. So we do some for seniors. We started off in Chinatown on the streets. And I'll show you, let me jump to the like this was one of my favorite. We used to get people to come out with dim sum because no one trusted us. Because we just walk around town and hey, you want to do self-defense class? Grandmas are like, who the hell are you? Kind of thing. Like we have dim sum if you go to class. So that's it was our dim sum and defense class. That's how we really started it off at that time. But we also do really big community events. I think that's how me and Tony got connected, because we started doing a lot of more proactive events to activate the community more. Not just the Asian community, the younger community, but allies to come out and be a part of our community, celebrate with us. Which I'm so thankful for you to have me here today to celebrate AAPI Heritage Month with all of you. And throughout all of this, we also find some ways to educate people as well. I'm hoping today you learn a little bit deeper nuances that you might not have heard from the community, understanding some of the important aspects of why we do the work we do and what we think about the community going forward. So one of the main things, kind of alluded to this earlier, why the safety aspect was so important is that without safety, you really can't do anything else. When we did this first rally, I literally called and texted all my friends. I was so excited. I was like, you gotta come out and stand up. I had moms like, they're like, hey, I'm kind of scared. Like, what do you mean? Like, because the week before this in New York, they were having a Stop the Hate rally, and a mom and her daughter was attacked on the subway on the way out there. No one got seriously hurt, but it was still scary for people to come out and stand out that was going to happen. And that was a very pervasive feeling that even if we stood up, people were going to attack us. And for the Asian community, we don't protest often. I don't know if you realize that's not really our thing. We're much more quiet. It's only recently through my org and other orgs that we're much more emboldened now. But for people to be like, hey, come out to a protest, that was the first time they've ever heard about that. So this is like a new muscle and new kind of journey we're going on with a lot of community members. So that's something I want a lot of people to remember and take away. Like this is a new behavior for a lot of our community and our generation to do. So that's why at that time when I was calling my friends, they actually did not want to come. And I know they cared about the community and they know they cared about their daughters, but they actually felt unsafe. So that was an aha moment, like we have to make people feel safe. If we don't make people feel safe, they can't be a part of the community and they can't self-actualize and they can't really be part of the movement, something bigger and better for us. So that's where this, the Maslow hierarchy, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. That's why safety is at the bottom. It's the most important. If you don't feel safe, nothing else can happen from there. That's why, like, even with the city, they're so focused on safety right now. You're not gonna go party or have a nice happy hour, go nice brunch if you don't feel safe just going to your car. That's a fundamental need that we all have. And when it was disrupted during the pandemic, us not feeling safe, not feeling if our parents are gonna be safe or our grandparents are gonna feel safe, that was something that was really bothering us enough for us to be active now. So one of the things we're most known for are safe defense classes. So this is Portsmouth Square, but we're doing a lot of the free self-defense classes during the pandemic, just to kind of show something to the community, make it fun too, because I don't think there's gonna be a world champion kickboxer that comes out of our classes, but what we really want them to do is understand there's something you can do, right? We just want them to know that they have some agency, give them some agency back, what they can do, how to use their voice, and some tips where they feel a little bit more confident, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy or like chicken and egg. When you walk with more confidence, you're actually less likely to be attacked because you look like you carry your body better. You look like you're going to use your voice. And if you put yourself in the shoes of an attacker, you want to attack someone that's an easier victim, right? The easier victim. So how do you make yourself not look easy? The Asian community, we are horrible at this. Okay, I talk to parents, grandparents all the time. They don't make eye contact. And if something happens, they look away, and then if something happens, they don't report it. You're like a perfect target at that point, right? And so when you say that to them, who would you rob? You want to rob the person who's making loud noise, yelling at you, looking you in the eye, or the person trying to hide, looking away, knowing that that person is not going to report the crime too? And you understand, this is talking about generational behavior changing. So I don't know about you, but when I have to talk to my elders, they don't always listen to me very well. But it's like, you have to earn that trust. But when you have to give those examples to them, like the glass shatters in your head, like, oh, wait, that makes sense. You know, so it's like a lot of these repeated behaviors and education with them. Like I said, we had to entice them with dim sum for a long period of time. But then we did graduate, so we had this really vigorous, like, self-defense training curriculum in the Chinatown YMCA. It was like a 10-week program, and we got them through progressions. I will show you a video, but it's long. It's like I was about to fail a couple of them, but they all passed. But they stuck from like a 10-week program, and like, they're not all there, but most of them are there. Like we pushed them, they fight, they have to get back up. So they got really engaged with it. But part of it was like really reminding them that the community is here and the younger generation is still here to care and take care of you. That was more important than the fact of the actual physical skills they were learning, because they learned that there's confidence and they're not alone. And they're going to go raise their voice. There will be people here to come and support all of you as well. So we're still doing these programs. So this is the Curry Senior Center. That's not too far in the Tenderloin. So we're still doing a lot of this like self-defense in-person training, because this to us is our bread and butter. This is where we came from. Right, and I'm going to tell you about some of the cool things that we're doing, but we always remember that this is the most important part of how we stay plugged into community. Because for us, when we started doing our nonprofit, we saw a lot of disconnect with what people thought we wanted and what we actually needed, and what our seniors really cared about. So we're always going to be doing this type of event. Now, coming to some of the cool fun stuff. So from a lot of those self-defense things that we were doing, that's very reactionary. And as usual, I mean, if you're doing self-defense, you're in a bad situation, right? A lot of times when we do self-defense videos or content, some horrific attack happened, and we wanted to put some content out there for people to know that there's some kind of answer for it. But since then, we have moved to our 3 signature events. So the Asian Women Are Strong event, so during Women History Month, we have an event that celebrates Asian American women issues only, without pretext or any subtext to it. And now I'm really proud to say it is the world's largest Asian American Women Conference. It's at the Asian Art Museum. This year, planned by these 2 lovely ladies on a board, had over 2,000 attendees. Amanda Nguyen, the one that has famously gone to space with Blue Origin, like Katy Perry, I'll leave it at that. You guys can talk about that if you want. But she came and we really built a lot of like momentum around this event because it actually brings more people together, right? Because women can support women, whether you're race or not. When you bring in race as a layer of complexity, how can I resonate? How can I be empathetic? How can I be a good ally? But you also know how to be a good ally as women. So we're creating new events and new spaces to continue activate more people and reach more partnerships with other groups as well. Our Heritage 5K is coming up this Saturday. I forgot to bring flyers to get you all to come. So it starts off in Japantown and it ends in Chinatown. And on that 5K route, you hit over 20 plus AAPI landmarks, going back 100, 150 years in San Francisco, Chinatown. That really shows the rich density of history we have here for the Asian community. And a lot of these organizations go unsung because they do so many work behind the scenes that we don't know about. And so this is also to remind our community and others about that history. Because one of the things about our Heritage 5K, this one's focused on activating the youth, like the younger generation to come out. Because even in my group of friends, when I ask them to go to a rally, go to a TED Talk or something, like they're not ready to engage in that way. So how did I find a way to engage in where they're ready? And I was like, people run for 5K from every reason on earth. Like there's a chocolate 5K, there's a turkey 5K. I'm like, okay, we give you free candy on this one. Like you guys gotta come out for this one. So that's why we came up with this idea to continue to activate people. But it's my favorite event because it really symbolizes like moving through history. Like you're literally running from one of the oldest Japantowns to the oldest Chinatown, and you hit up all these API landmarks, like Little Saigon in the Tenderloin, not far from here, the Asian Art Museum, Cameron House, 150 years old, and they literally make movies about Cameron House. So those are really cool experiences that even a lot of San Franciscans have never experienced. And also for the community and the younger generation, if we're not proud of our heritage, no one else will be. People are like, oh, we need more allies. Well, what do you want them to do? If you're not proud, you're not willing to stand up for yourself, you want someone else to do it for you. And so so that's my ethos around it is like, we gotta make it have fun and make sure we all engage in it. And then our biggest and newest event, World of Dumplings. So World of Dumplings is our new food festival that we brought to bring people together, because through homework, we found out that there's dumplings all over the world, right? And as you had ChatGPT, there's a lot of definitions around them. The one that was most divisive was the empanadas. So you can decide if that it is or not based on ChatGPT. They said empanadas are, so we included them. Samosas was on the edge too. But this was how we were using food as education to bring communities together to celebrate similarities and appreciate differences at the same time. But where that came from was when in 2021, what was a very pervasive narrative in the community was a Black on Asian hate crimes. And that was going on and was still going on. And so we wanted to break bread with the Black community. We had the Asian and Black cookout. That's where the first food event came out of. We were really intentional about that. Like, hey, social media wants to say this, other people want to say that. We want to break bread with community and just have a good time. So we were comparing different types of barbecue, like Korean barbecue versus Southern barbecue, Korean fried chicken, Southern fried jambalaya, and fried rice. And so people are, oh, there are so many similarities. How about we have a good time to really get to know each other? But from there, we had the Asian Latino cookout the year before to build that community. And then we're like, hey, and then last year, like, let's bring everybody together. That's where the World of Dumplings comes together. So like I said, it grew from like a few hundred people to one of the largest Asian woman American focused programs in the world. I think we had over 2,000 people at the Asian Art Museum all day. We had 42 speakers. We had like 10 panels. Each one was booked to the brim of just pure engagement. It was all ages, all races, all ethnicities that came that really wanted to talk about different topics from there. And I said, our 5K is coming up again, starting from Japantown and Chinatown. I need new pictures besides me, but yeah, I would cheer you on if you come. I will cheer all of you just like that, very enthusiastic with cowbell as well. And then our rolled dumpling. We did take more pictures, but we're gonna be moving to the Ferry Building this year. So we're gonna be behind the Ferry Building where the farmers market is. It'll be on Fleet Week as well. So it's gonna be food and entertainment all day for everyone. And one of the things that we're probably most known for what we're on social media, because we just have a bigger reach. So we make a lot of videos on social media. So when we first started to really become a nonprofit, one of the things we did a lot was videos online about self-defense. Because there just wasn't anything out there that was easily accessible, and also done in a way that we thought was kind of fun for people as well. So that's where we have a lot of reach on. So we make it like self-defense, shameless plug if you guys want to check out. We also do community stuff here, so we might come back and go through self-defense class for everyone. But those are usually pretty fun. But even with digital content, yeah. So this is Charles. This is our mutual friend. I've been so lucky. So through the silver lining of all of this nonprofit work and activism work is meeting some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, including those two there. That's Youngchi in the front, that's Annie right there. It's embarrassing them because they came out. I told them not to come out, they didn't want no pressure. But this one, we're actually been working on a documentary behind the scenes about birthright citizenship. Yeah, so we've been documenting since last year when Charles was indoctrinated as the president of San Francisco Bar Association. And he's very passionate about fighting for what's right. History is that birthright citizenship was fought here in San Francisco by Wong Kim Mark 127 years ago. We actually recently worked with the city to proclaim March 28th as Wong Kim Mark Day officially for the first time in San Francisco. And so we are working on a lot of these educational aspects because we understand that this is where the reach is. We find different ways to educate people at different times, right? Maybe it's a dumpling. You come and you understand where they come from, understand the history of it, and you start your journey there with them. Maybe it's the 5K, maybe it's a women's event. However it is, we're trying to find out where you want to find us and build something meaningful for all of you as well. We have the other fun community events as well. So this is where our organization has been growing and maturing into, is proactively building community events versus reactionary. So sometimes we buy out like movies, and when there's like AAPI movie and get everyone to come, there's a really nice theater owner in off of Chestnut. He's an AAPI owner, so he gives us a nice discount when we go. But we'll watch movies together, we'll either like them or not like them together at the same time. And we do, so we work with the American Red Cross as well to do the fire alarms, because if you ever try to get into an old senior's house, they will not let you in. So you have to speak the language to them. This is where the language appropriate services is so important, because it's a pure trust thing. If a senior can't speak, or at least in a decent way, they get so scared, so shut off, they don't really get the service that they really need. Everyone was just going to put in a free smoke alarm. Once the seniors heard you speak either Chinese or Vietnamese or Thai to their language, you can see them physically change and trust that person a lot more. It's just that natural thing. So that's something that we're trying to work with the city and the Red Cross with, as well as find more culturally appropriate services that we can help out with. Because the Asian community is probably one of the most difficult, because it's hard to see what language that person speaks. And then not just language, what dialect that person speaks. Of all the minority groups, when you just say Asian, because we're such a big diaspora, there's a lot of nuances there. So, and we know it's hard. Even for us, it's tough. Because when we had to go find translators for our programs, we had to reach a network of Asian community members too, and we're already plugged in. So we can just imagine how other organizations are struggling with it. So we're trying to find ways to work with you and other organizations in the same capacity as well. So yeah, where sometimes they just ask us, as we said, we're strong, so they tease us, so we have to go move stuff sometimes. But even with all of those community events, all those fun events, at the heart of what we do, we are a community advocacy group. And we use this platform so that we can fight for what we believe is right. This was 2 years ago, marching down with Charles again for our seniors, there was a horrible attack during, I think, July 2023. There was 4 attacks within a month. And there was one grandma who got attacked by 4 juveniles in kind of the North Beach area. And we were asking for questions about it. People, again, this was also during the political cycle, and they were trying to make it seem like anti-Asian hate was gone and that was solved. And us as a community said it was not, because we felt a very different reality than what the media was telling us. So we decided that we were going to stand up and make noise, because like I said, at the end of the day, we are always going to be an advocacy group. We do these events is because we use it as ways to help our community get ready to be active. Now, they might not be ready to protest yet, but hey, come out to the 5K first, come out to the women's event, come out to the World of Dumpling, be proud of that. Then next time, when it's time for really to call upon you to be active and help us, you're already there for us. So we're still advocating. So this is something we're still advocating for right now. So this is an example of the advocacy work that most people don't see behind the scenes. They see the big events, the 5K and all that stuff. But right now, there was a Japantown fire last year, almost exactly today, May 10, 2024, in Japantown, where 50 units got burned down, all the seniors were displaced. The initial reports were that all the Japanese seniors were displaced and they were trying to find services. 90% were Korean. So they even got that wrong. So they can't even give them the right resources for them. And now we found out that they've been kind of bullied through some of the systems. We're working behind the scenes to really empower them that we're here to support them, because the logistics behind this is a big nightmare. But what I want to take away is they have gone from telling us to not stir up the pot, because it seems like, I don't want to deal with this, you're going to make a lot of trouble, and I have to deal with it. Like, this young group is coming in, making all this noise. From now, they're starting their own tenant rights group, because they like, I see the example that you guys are leading, the daughters are now emboldened, that now they want to take care of themselves. So this guy, cross-cultural, cross-generational healing that we're doing a lot with as well, but it's based off of all the programming that we're able to work with others to be successful at. Oh yeah, so you see some of the seniors that got displaced. So when we do the big events, we were able to get all these donations. So they were like eating like very like hotel Western food. Old Asian people are extremely picky about food as well. So we're like, okay, get some rice cookers, get them some like plates and chopsticks so that we can donate to them, so that they can just feel like there's someone here to take care of them. And then we worked with this another charity group called Moonstar. And they do like meal preps, but for Asian-inspired food, and that we were able to like coordinate weekly drop-offs for them as well. Lady in the yellow is like 104 years old. Like, she's like the sweetest human on earth. And so like when this was all happening, she was just saying like how grateful it was to see other community members come back and take care of them as well. And from there, we have started to grow as one of the most active and largest AAPI nonprofits in the San Francisco Bay Area. These are like our teams that are just continually getting bigger and bigger. And these are the people that I would consider the new wave of activism, the new wave of community members. Yep, so please come out to our 5K. It's pretty fun. Yeah, and thank you. Any questions?
I'll refill the roaming mic if anyone has questions or wants to hear more about any of the areas.
Yeah, hi, Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very, very much. I guess my first question is, I just checked your website, Asians Are Strong, but I'm also wondering what other is the Asian, or what other website would let us know about events? Because I'm really interested in the events that bring diverse groups, especially, you know, different races together, like you were saying, Asians and African American and other groups.
Yeah, thank you for calling that out. That is something we're working on. We're trying to put a calendar of our events. That's something we want to. We have a newsletter. So if you join our newsletter on our website, then we can actually email you directly, or our Instagram is probably we're the most active on. But yes, we are lacking on letting people know ahead of time on a calendar. But we do want to put a calendar up for people to stay engaged with us.
First, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. One thing you touched on was filial piety, the respect for your elders. And that's a very powerful thing that we don't see in many other, white people don't normally think of that, for example. So thank you for bringing that point up. And your group is doing a great job. You have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
What's the handle?
Everything's Asian or strong. Apparently, knowing I took that, like it was easy to get that domain everywhere. Like,
Thank you.
but yeah, on that context, it's like it's also like for us, it's like a heightened sense of that sense of respect to elders. But when we talk about it with other communities and understanding like this is where it comes from, it's a family first reason. That actually helps us break a lot of bread too. Because people are like, oh, I get it. Now I get it. This is why there's this now. This is why people are really so passionate about it as well. But it's like through conversations like this that allow us to really get deeper into those conversations. And not gonna lie, it took me and some organizers, even with Charles, to really kind of understand where we were coming from. I'll share a little bit more personal about me. Why I'm so passionate about what we're doing now is I did have a sense of guilt. Because I was like, why haven't I taken care of my community before this? Why don't I do more of it? Why haven't I done it younger? So that's why I'm gonna double down now to take care of it. Be an example that I didn't see. Not that we just didn't know we needed an example, right? Like I didn't know someone needed to be here to talk and take up some space and really let people know, hey, if you mess with our seniors, we're not gonna let that happen kind of a deal, And I never had that sense of, okay, I'll just do it until someone else takes it over for me. And I said, when you come with that perspective, I think every family that has a good family moral, like they understand that instantly into a like very natural and simplistic primal level, like we take care of family. So if you attack our elders and our women, we're gonna have to take care of ourselves. And that to me is where like a principal line that we have like really came about from. Any questions, wonderings?
What is your favorite kind of dumpling?
There, okay, so siu mai is one that I always go to every Chinese restaurant, and that's one I test. Like that's like margarita pizza of a pizza shop for me. That's how I test if they make it well. So siu mai is my go-to. That's my gold standard. And then siu and pot stickers. So if you grill the bottom, I always like texture. I don't want to get too nuanced with this conversation. I'll start with siu mai and pot stickers, and then the Shanghai dumplings with the soup inside. Because that you have to be skillful to make that one, because the meat ratio is important.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the dumpling festival. Mark my calendar now.
Hudson, thank you for sharing your story, your organization with us. You're doing great work. My question today is, do you have a sense of how things are progressing over the past 4 or 5 years? Are incidents decreasing? Are we seeing less of these incidents in the Bay Area and nationally? What are your sense of how that's working out?
Yeah, so there is a decrease. I think there was definitely a spike when COVID first hit, when the administration, I'm not saying what political side, but when the narrative is very antagonistic to one group, it trickles downhill, especially when the economic times were bad at that point. People were frustrated, literally learning how to deal with social distancing for the first time. There's a lot of lashing out. Since then, there has been a lot more decrease in physical attacks, but you're starting to see it spike up again because the rhetoric with anti-Asia and anti-China is spiking up again too. This whole tariff war thing is not good for us, right? And this all anti-immigration policy, that also trickles downfield. So it has been a lot better. I worry about where it's gonna go. However, I think through all the organizations over the last 4 or 5 years, we have built a good infrastructure of organizations and teams to better respond. So one of the movements I was studying a lot during this time was the Black Lives Matter movement, when George Floyd and all that happened. That was an amazing show of when the infrastructure and when the organizations were ready, they knew how to respond. those might not remember, Black Lives Matter started 4 years earlier with Oscar Grant in Alameda. They started an organization there, they made some noise, made some splash, but there wasn't a continued need for what they needed. George Floyd happened, that group, that community, that infrastructure really ignited, and you saw what happens when you have that figured out. And so hopefully, when we're called upon again with the work with Charles and the other organizations that we've been working with, when there's attacks, we have the ability to make bigger influences now. For instance, just yesterday, there was an attack in Sunset. Grandma was just taking out her garbage. Some random person just hit her in the head randomly. I was able to email the chief of security and the DA immediately and ask for more information about what's happening. If I did that 4 years ago without building a platform like this, ignore me, right? But now they're able to respond by, oh, we know who you are. You can help us communicate to the community as well. So I think the more work we've built and the more work we've done over the last 4 or 5 years is setting up to be in a better place than 4 or 5 years ago. But talking about the political, I am very concerned because it is making it harder for people to speak out as well. Like you're almost like punished for speaking out right now, whatever political spectrum you're on. And so that's scary because if you're not able to voice, then the action is going to come right after that as well. So that's just my thought though.
I missed the beginning. You're talking, are you guys a Bay Area based organization or national?
So our core group is in San Francisco. Most of the volunteers are here, but we have volunteers throughout the nation as well. We've done some events in New York and LA and Canada, but by large and far, our biggest event, our biggest footprint is here. The dream was to be go nationally.
Yeah, right. I think it makes sense, right?
Yeah, that would be the goal. So if anyone knows how to take us nationally, just let me know.
Okay, I think that was, or do you have another question? All right.
My name is Britta Segerhammer, and I work for Safeway through a union. And there are a variety of people that work at Safeway, and they're really scared about the president. But overall, you know, we're just doing our jobs. I'm a bagger. I do a variety of things. And I have a great boss, and he is everybody's accepting of who I am because of my learning disability. And I'm just thankful that I have a part-time job. And that to me is, I'm just grateful. And I get to do other things with my family, and what I see on the news is just horrifying what our president is doing. Sometimes other things are good, but he's just talking about himself, literally.
Yes, and it is scary, right? Like for a lot of people, because if that's the example, like say that person, whoever your leader in all capacity, this is a personal philosophy, is not exactly what you claim your intent is, but what the actual impact is on other constituents that listen to you or follow you. If you understand that the narrative you have is emboldening others to do other things, maybe you're not condoning it, but you know it influences them to be more antagonistic and more hostile to other groups, that should be a concern. And that should be how you word things. That's why wording is so important. Picking Kung Flu versus like a China virus is impactful because that puts blame and that put hurt. And when someone's hurt and they're looking for blame and you gave them something to scapegoat, maybe you're not intending to do it, but that's going to happen. And so that's like with our work, we try to pay attention to this too, try to get ahead of it, right? And I get ahead of what we think might happen. I was fearing for this day for a long time. And that's why we actively work with the Asian and Latino community, Asian and Black community, and the women's event. For us, like, you need to have allies before you need to have allies. You have to build a relationship and build trust before, like, in the earth. By that time, like, it's too late. But if you have your strength and your partnerships and your relationships built out before that, then you're much stronger as overall community and society to really take on those type of challenges.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for your engagement. I know Tonry just stepped out. I was going to thank her for organizing and getting Hudson here for us. And I think we'll all, follow your Instagram and your newsletter so we can come to some of your events. I'll have to practice for a 5K maybe next
You
year,
can walk the 5K, Ms. King. We'll bring some flyers. Yeah, you guys should all come together. It'd be actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it could be fun. So, but it's, really great to hear about all the different things that you're doing. And we have, as you know, we have a multi-ethnic and multilingual group of seniors right here in our tower, in our residence tower and a big community. So it might be fun to do some self-defense classes and other things like that here on the square. So, Tanya, do you want to say anything? Are you good? Yeah.
Please come to our festival. It starts at noon.
Festival at noon, church in between. So thank you all, and thank you so much, Hudson, for sharing all your work. And thanks to those on Zoom for hanging in there with the sound issues at the beginning.